All right, so to begin, we're going to talk about the Material Site Improvement Manager and defining the parts for your utilities. Let's start with a new project. So I'm just going to come in and we're going to create a new project, pick the US survey foot or metric one, or even use one of your own custom templates that you already have set up. You want to define this in your template, or save this to your template or to your external library, so that you can always have these materials when needed. So go into the Material Site Improvement Manager, and under Site Improvements you'll see that I'm just starting with nothing, so we're just going to start with a blank one. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to use the icon for a new utility category. Let's just start with sanitary sewer parts. Again, you can name this whatever and organize it however you see fit. And then we're going to start, and I'm going to right click on it and create a new part object. The first part we'll create is a 48-inch concrete manhole. So we could just say 48-inch manhole, or whatever you want to call it. Down below we'll pick the type, which in this case it's going to be a manhole, so we'll select OK. Now we'll define the properties for the manhole. First we'll just choose the utility type, which is gravity based. You can see we can change pressure or cable, but this is definitely gravity. The class is depending on the class of the structure. Now one of the things that you probably want to do is you can do a Google search and you can find a ton of information about these parts. So depending on where area of the country or the world you're working in, you probably got some specifics and some specifications on these parts. You can also probably get them from the plans. Usually as a typical plan set will have the specs or the standard details for your parts. So here we can see that we've got a 48-inch interior diameter structure. It's 410 to the outside, so our thickness of our walls are going to be 5 inches. And then we've got a class, we can do AASHTO, let's say M199 or C476. We could use that as a current spec for our structure. So let's just go ahead with ASTM C478. So let's go back to here. We'll do ASTM C dash, let's check one more time. What is 478? So C478. The diameter is 48 inches. The thickness is going to be 4 feet 10 inches, or 5 inches, sorry. It's 5 inches. Okay. And we can set a color, and we can even put a cost. So if we were to come back to our sheet here, let's look at information. We could probably find, well, we can request a quote, so we probably have to get a call for detail. But you can see there's all kinds of information out there on the internet on storm and sanitary manholes, or even pipes and structures. We'll show you those next. So let's leave the cost at, let's just say it, we'll put a cost in there of $500. Okay. The entrance on center, that's where the pipe's gonna connect in, or we could put a distance to the center. Let's just leave it as entrance to center. And then the inspection criteria is not applicable yet, so we'll leave that set to none. Next, we can go ahead and create a pipe. So I can come in here and create a new sanitary sewer part object. This one will be, let's go with a 8-inch PVC pipe. And that's going to be a circular utility line. So just like the manholes, we can go out and we can get a spec sheet on all the parts for our gravity sewer pipes. So we're going to do these PVC pipes. We've got all our specs right here for our different part sizes, so we could sit here and continue and create all the different parts that we may need for a particular project. So let's go ahead and give it the material, be PVC. The class is going to be an SDR, let's say 35. Inside diameter is 8 inches. The thickness is going to be 0.24. And the outside bell has a diameter inch, so let's see, that's approximate D. The outside is 9.36. Again, we can set a color. We can do a unit cost. We can do a unit weight. So the unit weight for 8" is 4.24, and the length is 1 foot. So it's a unit of 1. Same thing with the inspection. You can see that this is not available yet, so we'll leave that the way it is. Unit cost per pipe. Again, let's just say it's $25 per foot, basically unit weight or unit cost. So then we could repeat that for the other structures. We can create another category if we want for, let's say, pressure. So we'll say this is water. So we do the same thing for the storm. You would go ahead and set that in, create all your storm parts. If we did water service, we can come in here and we can create a new water service object. Again, we can do a utility line for all our pipes. You can do a junction box. Maybe it's a storm sewer manhole, or the junction box would be the drainage. But the fitting is the one I want to show. So let's just say we did a fitting and we did fire hydrant. So we can do fire hydrant. We'll click OK. Unit is pressurized. You can choose gravity or cable. Class, what type of class this fire hydrant is. Color, maybe we use blue instead for our water. Cost of the hydrant. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to define your plan view block and what scale, your profile view block, what scale, and the 3D view block. We're going to cover this in a little bit greater detail later to show you how to create these 3D blocks and bring them in. But you'd have to bring the blocks in to actually have them displayed. But basically that's how you would set this up. If we did one more for a new utility, let's cancel that. Let's go to site improvement, create a new one. Let's call it storm. New storm object. Let's pick a junction box. We'll do let's call it a DI 7. Maybe that's the nomenclature again from the plans of your project. And this is a junction box, so this would be more of a rectangular shaped object. So gravity based, maybe it's a class 3, and we'll just do a 48" by 48" box with a 5" thickness. We'll set the color to this to be let's just do cyan. Again, a cost for that as well as the entrance, and you can have an angle to the entrance as well. Right? So that would be the process. You have to go and create all these different parts. Let's go ahead and do another part for this. We'll do a circular pipe. Oops, let's just call this a 15" RCP class 3. Again, looking at a spec sheet, I can set up the properties of the structure. So my inside diameter being 15 inches, my thickness in this case for a 15" would be it's like 2.25 actually, and my outside bell diameter is going to be so it's 15 plus is going to be 5.25, so it's going to be 20.5 is the bell diameter for in this particular case. The same thing with my unit weight. My unit weight here for 15" is 140, and that's pounds per foot. So I'm going to put my unit length of foot, and then again whatever the cost happens to be for that particular structure. So let's just say it's $50 per foot, and we'll save that particular part. So again, you repeat that process for the rest of your parts and build yourself out a parts library.